Hello, Chillify. I'm ready to craft some unforgettable stories with you. The villain escaped into the real world. The antagonist from my novel had broken free, clinging to me with an unnerving mixture of charm and petulance. No matter how many times I tried to banish him, he refused to leave. I tried to coax and trick him back into the story. In the end, after a week, the world of my story completely collapsed. The system sent an urgent plea for help. Then, in a dimly lit room, he cornered me against the wall. His eyes, filled with a nearly palpable possessiveness, felt terrifyingly real. He smiled and said, "Sister, you can't escape me, not unless I die. There's been a glitch in the world of my novel." When the system next appeared, it brought with it a boy of about 5 or 6 years old. He was small, adorable, with bright, sparkling black eyes. What stood out was the distinct tear mole beneath his eye. I asked, "Who is this child?" The system replied, "He is your son." I blurted out a lie. "I don't even have a boyfriend. How could I possibly have a child?" The system explained, "This boy is the villain from the novel you wrote. Jaden Jiang. Jaden Jiang." The name of the cold-blooded, cruel, and arrogant villain from my novel. Right. The boy's eyelashes were long and thick, his large eyes glistening as if veiled by a misty layer. I couldn't resist and pinched his cheek. The little boy pouted, "Gently, that hurts." My heart melted. He was just too adorable. The system warned, "Don't be fooled by his charming exterior. This villain has a very cunning mind." The novel's world encountered a glitch that requires time to fix. This childhood version of the villain wandered out during the repair process, so we need to temporarily entrust him to you to avoid disrupting the procedure. I couldn't believe a character from my novel was actually standing before me. Although he wasn't the male or female lead, I had put a significant amount of effort into creating this villain. I disregarded the system's warning. "It's fine, I'll take care of my son for a while." The system replied, "All right, I'll return him to the novel's world in a month." After the system departed, the boy proactively took my hand. "Sister, where is this?" At this moment, the boy didn't have the gloomy, stubborn look he'd develop as an adult. He was looking up at me with curious eyes, observing the room. "Don't worry, consider this your home. You'll live here for a while." My motherly instincts kicked in. I knelt down and caressed his cheek, finding him so adorable I couldn't let go. "Tell Big Sister if you want anything to eat, okay?" He nodded in agreement. But when we got to the supermarket, I lost sight of him. I eventually found him in the toy aisle, wrestling over a toy with another chubby little boy. Seeing me, his eyes lit up. "Sister, I want this." The chubby boy whined, snot running down his face. "It's mine, I grabbed it first." The little boy replied confidently, "But I saw it first." Even at such a young age, he already possessed a captivating aura, more so than in the novel. Although he seemed irritable, everyone just thought children were often temperamental. Even the chubby boy's mother said, "Son, this little friend is smaller than you, can you let him have it?" The chubby boy cried and was pulled away by his mother. The boy came over, hugging his toy, showcasing his victory. I felt that wasn't right and seriously lectured him. He complained, "But he pushed me first." He pointed to a red mark on his smooth, fair arm. "He made me fall just now and didn't apologize, that's why I did it." So that's how it was. Indeed, as an adult, Jaden Jiang was not one to accept insults without retaliation. I gently blew on his arm. "Does it hurt?" He threw himself into my arms. "When sister blows, it doesn't hurt anymore." My heart softened, worried he might wander off. I held his hand and we walked home. He was so well-behaved and obedient that I felt at ease. I bought him a lot of snacks. Combined with the toy, the amount I spent exceeded my budget. When I wrote the novel, I imagined the boy growing up as the son of a wealthy family, dressed in luxurious clothes. But I, his creator, was just an ordinary working-class person. When paying, my heart ached as if being torn. But after so much trouble just to meet my son, spending a little money was fine. A few days later, I began to wonder if I could choose again. I think I would refuse to let the system send the boy here. Ever since Jaden Jiang appeared, my life had become chaotic. The boy was always running around the house, playing hide-and-seek. Sometimes he'd hide in the closet, sometimes under the bed, sometimes in the storage room. His tiny body was incredibly skilled at hiding. I just couldn't find him. Last time I searched for so long and couldn't find him, I even thought a human trafficker had broken into the house to kidnap him. He didn't belong to this world, and I couldn't call the police. Finally, as I was about to go crazy wondering what to tell the system, he emerged from a large teddy bear. He came closer to me, looking at my panicked face from not finding him with an obedient and innocent smile. "Sister, don't worry, I'm still here." I didn't let him off easily, immediately spanking his bottom a few times. He stopped smiling and said, "No one has ever dared to hit me." I spanked him again. "Well, now someone has." Seeing that I was truly angry, he hugged me and said softly, "I just like seeing you worried and looking for me. No one has ever cared about me before." My anger instantly vanished. Jaden Jiang, though a noble villain, was unloved by his parents. He grew up in a cold and calculating family, starved of affection. It wasn't until he met the gentle female lead later that he truly felt brave. To win her unique love, he used every conceivable tactic to fight the male lead, but ultimately failed miserably. Not only did his company go bankrupt, but he was also sent to prison. I sighed, about to say, "I'll let it go this time, but don't do it again," when suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my hand. He had taken advantage of my inattention and bitten my hand hard. I cried out in pain, almost hitting him away. He looked up, a triumphant smile on his face, his already beautiful eyes curving like crescents. This kid was truly hateful. I rolled up my sleeves and began to lecture him for 2 hours. If adults can't be controlled, then why can't I control this little rascal? He sat on a small chair, covering his ears. Emotionlessly, I pulled his hands away. "I'm not finished talking." "Sit still and listen carefully." He replied, "I hate you, sister." I retorted, "In that case, I'll let you leave right now, okay?" He didn't say anything further. Wouldn't it be great if he was always so obedient? That evening, I put my heart into making his favorite egg noodles. I eagerly waited for him. "Is it good?" The villain's parents were often absent, so he had never experienced a mother's love. In the novel, it was this very dish that touched his heart. But little Jaden Jiang hesitated, seemingly afraid I would lecture him more. He reluctantly pushed the bowl away. He said, "How about we eat out?" Why didn't I think of that? I pushed the bowl back towards him. "Outside food isn't as good as homemade food. You have to finish it all." His pretty face wrinkled up. "It tastes like nothing." "Of course it does. It tastes like a mother's love." The boy, accustomed to gourmet food and very picky, eventually had to finish the bland bowl of egg noodles under my watchful eye. In the following days, I took care of him, providing 3 meals a day. Little Jaden, who was originally scrawny, now looked much healthier and rosier. I was very satisfied. Raising a child truly is an art. If they don't listen, a little spanking is all it takes. The formerly delicate and whiny boy now ate spring onions with soy sauce and steamed buns with chili sauce alongside me. His physique was also becoming firmer. "Sister, I want to eat meat tonight. Call me sister." The boy climbed onto the back of my chair, massaging my shoulders and back. He said in a sweet voice, "I also want to eat chocolate. There's still some at home." "It's not good, I want imported German chocolate." "We don't have any." He immediately nestled into my arms, hugging my neck tightly. "Please, sister, buy it for me," falling for his charms. The little boy had learned how to be coquettish. He was incredibly cute when he acted spoiled, so I ended up ordering it for him. He immediately kissed my cheek. "Sister is the best." I was showered with sweet praise. I finally understood why in the novel this villain could repeatedly seduce the female lead, making her angry with the cool male lead. Even as a child, he already knew how to win people over, making them willingly spend money on him. As usual, my mother called on the weekend. Lin, how old are you now? Other people's children already know how to buy soy sauce, but you still don't have a boyfriend. Come back here and go on a blind date for your mother?" I couldn't argue with my mother, so I reluctantly went on the blind date. The pot-bellied man sitting opposite me looked at me, then at little Jaden Jiang beside me. "Aunt Liu didn't mention you had a child. You're not deliberately using a child as an excuse to avoid blind dates, are you? This is indeed my child." The man smiled magnanimously, revealing a gold tooth. He pulled my hand with a familiar expression. "It's okay, I'm not that old-fashioned. Your child is my child too. Marry me and I'll give you and your child a happy home." My mouth twitched. What else did this man want? Just a second later, an iron fork flew straight at his face, almost injuring him. He dodged in panic. "You don't stand a chance. She won't marry you." The boy, with a gloomy expression, withdrew his hand. I glanced at him with an admiring look. As if to declare his ownership, the boy climbed into my lap and declared, "Because she is my woman." I nearly fell off my chair. This boy was only 5 years old. Such words were completely unreasonable. Save those lines for the female lead. After spending some time together, we grew closer and closer. The boy became increasingly attached to me. Every morning when I woke up, his short little arms and legs would be wrapped around me, refusing to let go. I said, "Let go quickly, I'm going to be late for work." He replied, "Don't go, stay home and play with me. My family is very rich enough to support you." I said, "Seeing you so filial makes me happy, but we don't belong to the same world. Sooner or later, you'll have to go back." He insisted. "I don't want to go back." I asked, "What are you saying? Your current life is so good, are you planning to eat instant noodles here for the rest of your life?" His eyes welled up. "Even if it's for life, it's fine. Don't say things like that, you've only just stopped wearing diapers." I patted his head, thinking that children simply get attached to their temporary family. Once he returned to the novel's world, he would forget all about this time and go back to being a noble young master. From that day on, the boy became very well behaved. He no longer messed up the house, and his toys were neatly put away. When he saw me come home, he even ran to give me my slippers. "All right, tell me, why are you being so good lately? What do you want?" He took my hand, placing it on his face with a childish possessiveness. "Lynn, please don't leave me. I'll be very good. I'll earn money to support you later." I was touched, pinching his cheek. "You're so lucky, there's no hardship here at all. Besides, you're the villain in the novel. If you don't go back, who will drive the plot and bring the male and female leads together?" But after spending time together, I also couldn't bear the thought of this villain growing up only to end up imprisoned. A month later, the system returned to find me. "The glitch has been fixed. The villain can return." Although I didn't want to, I understood that Jaden Jiang didn't belong in this world. I searched for him endlessly but couldn't find him. I turned the entire house upside down, but there was no trace. It was unclear where he was hiding again. The system said, "It's all right, we can forcibly recall him. Thank you for your companionship during this time." I replied, "It's nothing. It was a joy to be with the boy. I just regret not being able to see him one last time to say a proper goodbye." After the system left, looking around the empty house, I felt a profound sense of loss. A week later, the system came to find me again. "Your novel's world just collapsed." I was stunned. "Huh, it's only been so long, wasn't the glitch fixed?" The system said, "This time it's not a glitch, but the villain has encountered a problem." When Jaden Jiang was mentioned, my voice unconsciously betrayed my worry. "Is he all right? Is he being bullied?" The system was silent for a moment, then said, "He wasn't bullied. He blew up both the male and female leads and himself along with them." My eyes widened. "Huh, let me show you." My vision went dark, and the surroundings quickly transformed into an abandoned warehouse. A man and a woman were bound, their bodies filthy. I averted my gaze. I saw that Jaden Jiang had grown up. He was no longer the slender, chubby boy from before. He stood tall in the darkness, his eyes looking gloomy. "Is this still the fair-skinned boy I once cared for?" The bound woman shrieked, "You maniac!" He seemed not to hear, muttering to himself with self-derision, "It's been so long and she still hasn't come, I'll go find her." Accompanied by a massive explosion, everything fell into dark silence once more. The ending has collapsed and the system cannot determine the cause. This is an emergency situation. We hope you can directly fix the ending. As soon as the system finished speaking, I was transported into the world of the novel. To preserve the plot, the system assigned me an ordinary and unremarkable identity. I became a new student in the same class as the female lead, Summer Shen. Summer was very gentle and friendly, sharing a cookie with me. Seeing the girl I had created, I felt very happy. According to the story's plot, I glanced at the desk behind me. The person with a cold demeanor, sleeping with his head down on the desk, was none other than the male lead, Ethan Gu. Feeling someone's gaze, Ethan Gu lifted his head, gave me a cold stare, then went back to sleep, perfectly embodying the cool style. Summer Shen, seeing my apparent worry at Ethan Gu's attitude, quickly explained, "Lynn, Ethan Gu doesn't mean any harm, don't worry. He's always like that. In reality, he's very kind. Last time I fell, he even took me to the hospital." I knew that, of course, Summer. This was the story I had meticulously crafted for my children. You are all good kids. I can just watch you two fall in love. I felt incredibly excited. Summer Shen was gentle and kind, while Ethan Gu was cold and profound. All I could do was observe them and eat dog food, witness their affection, feeling indescribably content. During this time, I wanted to understand Jaden Jiang. The reason why he became like that, destroying the plot and causing the novel's world to shatter. But he rarely came to school, so I could only wait until he met Summer Shen. With me supervising this time, I was sure the story wouldn't spiral out of control. That day after school, on the way home, I saw Summer Shen rushing towards me. "What's wrong?" Summer was almost in tears. Ethan Gu, he's being blocked by some people in an alley. There are so many of them and I don't know what to do. Since I was an adult, I managed to stay calm and reassure her. There are cameras here, they won't dare to do anything bad. You go find the nearest police station, I'll go in and buy some time. According to the plot, the male lead, Ethan Gu, hadn't yet been recognized by the wealthy Gu family. His alcoholic father had incurred many debts before his death. Debt collectors frequently harassed Ethan Gu. I had prepared a plan of action before stepping into the narrow alley. Stop right there, everyone. I've already called the police. After saying that, I realized the situation wasn't right. The people blocking Ethan Gu were not debt collectors. Among the students in uniforms, a tall male student stood out in the middle. He was the only one not wearing a uniform, instead clad in a black jacket. He leaned lazily against the wall with an arrogant air. One of his feet was pressing down on the male lead's back. When he heard my voice, he merely lifted his eyelids, his gaze sweeping over. I was surprised. Those eyes were both familiar and strange. It was the adult Jaden Jiang. I had chosen this timeline, more than 10 years later. His face was now fuller, he was taller than me, and handsome enough to surpass even celebrities. Although I knew Jaden Jiang would be handsome when he grew up, seeing him in reality still took me by surprise. My sudden appearance attracted everyone's attention. Called the police, huh? They all laughed loudly. Jiangji, she said she called the police. She's got guts, is she this guy's girlfriend? Clearly, this statement didn't scare them. A group of male students, though I didn't know them, I guessed were Jaden Jiang's old friends. All of them came from good backgrounds, had bad tempers, and enjoyed mocking others. Jaden Jiang was the leader of this group. I wasn't sure if he still remembered me, and even if he did, I wouldn't be at ease. Jaden Jiang wasn't one to easily forget. I had treated him in such ways when he was little. If he knew who I was, he definitely wouldn't let me off. I didn't have the female lead's halo. It was best to run now. Too late. Someone laughed, their tone mischievous. I realized the path behind me was blocked. Who told you to mess up our business? Jiangji hasn't told you to leave yet. When writing the story, to portray Jaden Jiang's arrogant and vicious personality, I had created a few henchmen like these for him. I didn't expect them to cause trouble for me now. I looked back at Jaden Jiang. He just smiled, not looking at me, but lazily used the tip of his shoe to lift Ethan Gu's chin. His girlfriend, huh? Ethan Gu, covered in dirt, tried to stand up but lacked the strength. She has nothing to do with this, let her go. Quite the flower protector, aren't we? Jaden Jiang's smile deepened. Then let her see your true face clearly. I couldn't take it anymore and stepped forward, pulling his arm. We're all classmates, so let's treat each other courteously. Jaden Jiang was startled by my pull, his expression momentarily stunned. Then he pulled his hand back, his eyes turning cold. Who gave you permission to touch me? I was taken aback by his coldness. I realized he was no longer the boy who used to cling to me, but now the cruel and messy villain from the story. He stared at me, the tear mole under his eye making him even more captivating. Who are you? Why haven't I seen you before? I tried to remain calm as I faced him. It seemed he had forgotten all previous memories. I'm your classmate, Lin Lin. Seeing his expression remain unchanged, I breathed a sigh of relief. Another person said, Jiangji, don't waste your time with her. She's clearly just buying time. Jaden Jiang shot a glance. Since when do you dare give me orders? The person immediately fell silent. I felt someone grab my wrist. I can let him go, but you have to stay. Was he going to hit me? This kid, I bought you so many snacks when you were little. I'm not keen on this anymore. I don't know how to fight. The crimson sunset glowed on the wall. I closed my eyes. Then he said, I'm hungry, are you hungry? I quickly said, how about I treat you to a meal as a way to let me off, even though I don't have much money in this world. The early autumn weather was a little chilly. Inside the convenience store, Jaden Jiang and I sat opposite each other, looking at the instant noodle cup between us. He asked, you're giving me asterisk this to eat? I pointed to a grilled sausage inside. His voice wasn't very confident. He was no longer the child whose bottom I could spank. Now he was taller than me. Seeing that he wasn't eating, I pulled the noodle cup towards myself. If you don't like it, I'll eat it for you. The noodle cup hadn't reached me before a long, slender, pale hand stopped it. Who said I wasn't eating? How hungry was this formerly picky eater, now devouring instant noodles? I swallowed hard. I'm not fighting you for it, he replied. Who knows? The convenience store lights illuminated his eyes like transparent jewels. The tear mole beneath his eye made him even more captivating. Even eating instant noodles, he was so handsome it was hard to look away. I really wonder why he caused this world to collapse. Why did you hit Ethan Gu? Does he need a reason to hit people? He put down his fork, his eyes fixed on me. Conversely, what's your relationship with him? I thought you were very brave. Why are you so afraid yet still dare to defend him? I felt there was something not simple in his words. We're just classmates. Just classmates. Perhaps you want to save all the stray dogs on the street too, huh? His words were truly cruel. I recalled Jaden Jiang's original image. He came from a prominent family, had a terrible personality, and always spoke sarcastically. Only the female lead could tolerate him, but it all stemmed from his lack of affection. I felt a pang of guilt and bought him another sausage. He raised an eyebrow. Are you feeling guilty about something? If he was being beaten, I would also step in to stop it. His cold face suddenly paused. I wasn't sure if it was just my imagination, but his expression seemed to soften somewhat. He turned away. I don't need your protection. News about Ethan Gu being beaten somehow spread throughout the school. Ethan Gu, that handsome, quiet male student, huh? What good was being handsome? I heard his family was very poor and his grandmother was ill with no money for treatment. I also heard he worked as a bartender after school to earn money, perhaps even being kept by some girl. Being beaten was only right. Who would care about someone like him? Now, it seemed everyone was rumored that Ethan Gu was a bad person, involved in shady relationships with many people. Summer Shen was indignant. How can you say that about Ethan Gu? I trust him, he's not like that. Summer Shen ran to comfort Ethan Gu. Watching them console each other, I felt like I was constantly eating dog food. But what puzzled me was that no one knew I had helped Ethan Gu, nor did anyone discuss it. During recess, getting water, I saw Jaden Jiang's group pass by. He stopped beside me. If you know what kind of person he is, stay away. This must have been caused by him. Why are you targeting him? According to the plot, Jaden Jiang only targeted Ethan Gu because he liked Summer Shen. But now he didn't know Summer Shen and certainly wasn't interested in her. Yet he still continuously targeted Ethan Gu. Jaden Jiang narrowed his eyes and asked, "Is that true?" "Yes, otherwise why did you hit him that day?" "He hit me first, I just reacted." He smiled as if innocent. I felt a headache coming on. Truly, at this rebellious age, he made me even angrier than when he was a child. But still, this is the villain I created myself. Suddenly, he held something out. "I don't feel like eating this anymore, here, take it." Back in the classroom, I opened it to find a beautifully packaged box of pastries. Just by looking at the outside, I knew it was expensive. When I took a bite, a delicate sweetness spread throughout my mouth. I then investigated the reason why Jaden Jiang blocked Ethan Gu in the alley that day. I learned that Ethan Gu had actually made the first move. One of Jaden Jiang's rowdy friends liked Summer Shen and had been constantly harassing her. Ethan Gu stepped in to protect Summer Shen. Perhaps it was the natural clash between the male lead and the villain. He mistakenly hit Jaden Jiang. With Jaden Jiang's personality, he certainly wouldn't let Ethan Gu off the hook. So this wasn't too surprising and still involved the female lead, Summer Shen. If that day, it hadn't been me but Summer Shen who appeared in the alley, Jaden Jiang would have met her for the first time and gradually become captivated by her. Perhaps that was why the novel's plot collapsed. The villain developed too strong feelings for the female lead, ultimately leading to both the male and female leads dying together. But my appearance had prevented the encounter between the villain and the female lead. Although Jaden Jiang still disliked Ethan Gu, there was no factor to drive him mad later. I felt relieved and realized I had misunderstood Jaden Jiang. I needed to find an opportunity to apologize to him. However, after a few days, he didn't come to school. As I was worrying about how to meet him, I ran into one of his henchmen. It was Liu Su, a newly rich young master whose family also had some wealth. He had no great talents but always wanted to flatter people like Jaden Jiang, the heir to a large corporation. He blocked me, his small eyes narrowing. "I remember you. Last time you ruined Jiangji's mood. Now I'm taking you to apologize to Jiangji." It was perfect timing, as I wanted to meet Jaden Jiang. The location was a very luxurious club, a gathering place for the wealthy. The waiter led the way. I turned around to look, and Liu Su was giving me a contemptuous look. I thought she was so high and mighty. Heard Jiangji was here and immediately ran over. If Jiangji doesn't like her, then we can have a little fun. "You're too despicable," I said, flatly refusing. He got angry. "HMPH, why don't you look at yourself and see what kind of person you are? Jiangji is the son of the Lin Feng group. What girl wouldn't rush to him like a starving wolf? With that appearance, he wouldn't even pay attention to you. Only I find you somewhat cute." I wasn't bothered. He's talented, but he's still afraid of bugs, you know. Liu Su was surprised, his eyes wide. How did you know? Because when he was little, I used insects to scare him. Maintaining an air of mystery, I pushed the door open. Inside, the light was dim, but the atmosphere was lively. Jaden Jiang sat in the center, his face full of lazy nonchalance, his brows furrowed with gloom. As soon as I entered, his gaze fixed on me. Who brought her here? Liu Su replied. Jiangji, last time she ruined your plans. This time I brought her to apologize to you. Jaden Jiang showed no expression. Everyone, put out your cigarettes. In just a moment, my hand was firmly grasped by him and I was pulled into his embrace. In the room, everyone couldn't believe their eyes at this scene. Jiangji, she's my girlfriend. I was stunned. I didn't know when this had happened. Liu Su was also surprised. Jiangji, why haven't we heard you mention having a girlfriend? Jaden Jiang said. We just met, she pursued me and I agreed. When did I ever pursue him? I broke free from his embrace. Don't talk nonsense. He said, you think I'm talking nonsense. Everyone's gaze made me want to burrow into the ground and disappear. I whispered, when did I ever pursue you? Ever since you appeared, don't expect to have a chance to leave. He looked at me, his eyes very serious. Even if you don't pursue me, I won't easily let you go. I felt my entire body tremble. The confession seemed more like a threat, leaving me reeling. All thoughts of apologizing completely vanished from my mind. I hurriedly left as if fleeing. That phrase kept replaying in my head, once you're here, don't expect to leave. What did it mean? I constantly refused Jaden Jiang's invitations to hang out. I didn't accept any of the gifts or snacks he sent me. I didn't understand why he liked me. We had only met a few times. After that, I almost deliberately avoided him. The result was that he became a gloomy phantom. Everywhere I went, I felt someone secretly watching me. I felt a chill all over my body, especially when I was happily chatting with others. Even Summer Shen and Ethan Gu felt it. It's been so cold lately, especially behind us. Does it feel like there's a ghost or something around? Not a ghost, but indeed, a gloomy phantom was nearby. During PE class, I went into the equipment room to get a jump rope. The door suddenly slammed shut with a loud bang. A cold wind rushed in, blowing through my collar. Ghost! I couldn't stand the atmosphere and ran towards the door. I ended up bumping into someone. I clutched my nose in pain, but in my ear I heard a familiar voice, deeper than usual. Do I make you hate me that much? In the darkness, human senses like hearing and touch become more sensitive. I clearly felt his warm breath on my ear. Jaden Jiang didn't answer, just gave a cold laugh. You're truly a liar. Clearly, that day you pushed me away. The one who should be angry is me. My eyes widened. You remember everything? How could I forget? My sister, I waited for you for so long, through so much hardship. When I saw you again, did you know how happy I was? I always restrained myself, afraid of scaring you. But you were indifferent to me and I couldn't bear it. Sister, you can't escape me, not unless I die. Please don't say such dark things anymore. I tried to sort through the chaotic thoughts in his head. Why do you like me so much? If you remember everything clearly, you must also remember when I used to carry you as a child. He didn't say much, simply pulled my hand and placed it on his chest. His heart was beating powerfully there. My hand even trembled slightly with its rhythm. When I met you, every part of my body felt like it was screaming. Only then did I realize I was still alive. He smiled mysteriously. It doesn't matter if you don't like me. I'll find a way to make you like me. I understand what you care about. I immediately became alert. Don't do anything reckless. I won't hurt anyone because that would make you angry, but I have other ways. For example, I could give Ethan Gu a plane ticket abroad. I believe he wouldn't refuse if I paid for his grandmother's medical expenses. The feelings between the two main characters were developing. I couldn't let them be separated now. He clearly grasped what I had planned in the plot and intended to destroy it. Jaden Jiang was indeed the villain I had meticulously created. He was much smarter than the male lead, and if I allowed him the same advantages as the male lead, he would surpass Ethan Gu because he was more ruthless. The more he couldn't have something, the more obsessive Jaden Jiang became over it. The more I resisted, the more he refused to let go. Jaden Jiang, I agree to be with you, but you must not cause any more trouble. In the darkness, for the first time, I proactively hugged him. Although I couldn't see his face, I felt his body stiffen at that moment. His breathing became rapid. Sister, don't lie to me. He hugged me tightly, his tone fierce. Even if you're lying, it doesn't matter. I won't give you a chance to regret it. The scent from his body wafted into my nose. I was a little disoriented. This was the brand of body wash I had bought for him. Jaden Jiang had changed. He was no longer gloomy. He no longer lurked in the shadows. Suddenly, he became polite, refined, even going to apologize to Ethan Gu. I knew he was pretending. He knew that doing so would attract my attention even more. He feared that this fleeting happiness would disappear like a bubble, afraid that I would abandon him again. When he saw me talking to other male students, he would become insanely jealous. But as soon as I turned back, I would surely see a gentle smile on his face. Like a cold snake, Jaden Jiang showed his jealousy and knew how to disguise it. I realized his nature couldn't be easily changed. The main reason was his lack of affection. The more I overlooked his flaws and understood him, the more I hoped he could change himself through love. After a period of time, Jaden Jiang truly underwent a noticeable transformation. He no longer participated in street racing or went to bars. When I returned, I saw him neatly dressed, carrying my backpack and walking with me to the library. This obedient demeanor no longer carried the stubbornness of a young master. His friends often reminded him, "Jiangji, don't be a dreamer." "She's only after your money and looks," he replied. "She loves too little. My entire body and heart are hers." He seriously served me hot water and helped me find a seat. When he sat down, I took a fruit candy to give him. Fearing he wouldn't eat it, I gently put the candy into his mouth. His throat gently bobbed, his ears turning red. Jaden Jiang, usually gloomy, transformed into an innocent boy with just a little pampering. Seeing his shyness, I suddenly thought that this wasn't so bad after all. A month later, I again felt like someone was watching me, but each time I turned around, I saw no one. Was it because I had been talking to Summer Shen a lot lately, making Jaden Jiang feel insecure? As night fell, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. I felt anxious, unable to ignore it. "Jaden Jiang, is that you?" There was no response. The area was deserted, with no one on the street. I felt a chill down my spine and walked faster. When I looked back, I saw a person in a black hat whose figure was not Jaden Jiang's. He followed me. Seeing me quicken my pace, he also sped up. I couldn't recall having any connection with this person. He said nothing and ran faster than me. A sense of fear engulfed me. Worse, I found myself trapped in a dead-end alley with no escape. I clearly saw his face. A fat, middle-aged man. I didn't know him at all. He smiled, and I smelled a foul odor from his body. His eyes were dull and bloodshot. I picked up a discarded wooden stick from the ground, swung it to strike, but he grabbed me. The strength difference between male and female is too great. I was pulled towards him. It was over. But that disgusting contact didn't happen. A sound rang out like a fist hitting bone. Just a second later, I fell into warm arms, a firm chest heaving violently as if he had run a long distance. "Jaden Jiang," my voice was hoarse. Jaden Jiang held me tight in his arms. "Don't be afraid." His voice had the power to dispel all my worries. In this moment, I realized Jaden Jiang was no longer the villain character I had created. He was no longer the child I once cared for. He was a real person, capable of protecting me. The man saw someone, turned around, and tried to run away. Jaden Jiang's eyes were cold, and another powerful punch landed. That punch carried the force of the wind, showing its immense power. He was almost knocked unconscious when the police appeared. After taking statements, it was completely dark. The man was a lunatic. Due to mental illness, he had been in a facility but was released. But this time, having met Jaden Jiang, I feared he would never get out again. I looked up. Jaden Jiang was still holding me tightly. "Does it hurt?" Hearing no reply, I looked up suspiciously, seeing his deep, bloodshot eyes, which were very frightening. "Lin, I can't imagine what would have happened to you if I had arrived a little later." I knew his emotions were unstable. I quickly said, "I'm fine, don't worry." He grew up in a cold family. If his only source of warmth disappeared, Jaden Jiang would truly go mad. It took a long time to comfort him before he escaped that heavy atmosphere. From then on, Jaden Jiang never let me out of his sight, clinging even tighter. A long time passed. It wasn't until we both got into college and lived together that he gradually overcame the obsession of me being followed that day. But I was also thoroughly devoured by him under the guise of close protection. The villa we lived in was very close to the school. We meticulously decorated it together, leaving traces of our love everywhere. A young man full of vigor truly made one feel overwhelmed. One time, I couldn't get up and was late for class. He calmly flipped me over. "I already asked for a leave of absence for you yesterday." I was furious. He kept trying every way to comfort me, those painful but joyful days. I thought that one way or another I had managed to restore the shattered world of the novel, and I had rewritten a happier ending. Later, I added to the story's ending. The villain, Jaden Jiang, and his queen lived their sweet days without shame.